Hello everyone and welcome to the Spirits channel. In this particular ITC experiment, I'm going to be asking the spirits what happened to serial killer Ted Bundy after he died. Where is he now in the afterlife? Ted Bundy killed approximately 30 people between 1974 and 1978. Although many believe that his kill count was even higher than 30. Ted Bundy once described himself as being the most cold-hearted son of a bitch you'd ever want to meet. When asked if he had any guilt over taking the lives of his victims, he said, "Guilt never solved anything." So even going to his death on death row in prison, he never once shared remorse or showed that he was sorry or apologized to the surviving family members of his victims. Many say that he was sociopathic and psychotic. He had no feelings, not normal feelings like we would have as normal, regular, feeling human beings. But now a couple of people have asked me why I'm doing these kinds of sessions now with Heaven's Gate, Chad and Lori, Chad Daybell and Lori Vallow. Why am I doing these kinds of sessions now? And I'm not going to do these kinds of sessions all the time, but as I feel led, I'm going to kind of dip into this area. And really, it's for research. You know, going back to the beginnings of paranormal research and even spiritualism, you know, where this research was to learn about the afterlife, learn what we can from the spirits who are there, and find out what really happens to people like Ted Bundy, like the Heaven's Gate cult, when they cross over. Now, a lot of us like to think we have the answers to that, but do we really? We have glimpses of the afterlife through near-death experience, but even those are inconclusive and don't always match up to our favored religious beliefs. So these kinds of sessions are ITC and paranormal experiments to try to dig a little bit deeper. What exactly happens to these kind of people on the other side? Now, again, I know this kind of research is or can be inconclusive because, as we know in paranormal research, as we know in any form of spiritualism, the spirits don't always tell the truth. You have to take what the spirits say with a grain of salt. That's why divination through spiritism or spiritualism is never really a good idea, because you may get good information, you may not. And as you'll hear in this session about Ted Bundy, it's very interesting that his name is mentioned throughout the session. You'll hear voices say Ted, Ted quite clearly. But we get mixed answers as to where he is, how long he's been there, what happened to him. You know, so even then we don't have a definitive answer as to what happens to people like this in the afterlife. But any direct answers we can get through ITC research, for some, and for me at least, it is proof we are communicating with the other side. Someone is answering us, whether they be telling us 100% of the truth or whether they are not. And there are a variety of spirits around us, some nice, some not so nice. In the end of this session, I did ask if Ted Bundy would like to say anything and speak on his behalf. And it was kind of interesting what came through. This session is a little slow in parts. It picks up probably about 4 or 5 minutes in. It starts getting a little bit more interesting. But I think it's a worthy session to listen to and to glean information from possibly about the afterlife. And I find it very interesting when I ask if Ted Bundy can speak, and I ask him where he is and if he has any remorse up to this day. The answer was quite clear and quite interesting. So enjoy the session. I hope you get something out of it. Let me know your thoughts below once you listen to this session. Where do you think Ted Bundy is? Is he in an eternal hell that lasts forever? Or is he in a place of darkness and soul torment until he learns to embrace the light and let go of the darkness and the evil that he has embraced in his lifetime by taking the lives of these people? Let me know your thoughts. I look forward to hearing from you. So until next time, here's the session. All right, so we have the Necrophonic app running through one of the radios that I'm using as a portal. And we're going to be asking about Ted Bundy. What happened to him in the afterlife? Did he ever show remorse for what he did in taking the lives of his victims? As we talked about in the intro, right up until his death, he showed no remorse, no repentance. He seemed like a very defiant, very dark soul. So we're going to ask if the spirits know anything about his whereabouts, know anything about what happened to him when he crossed over. So with that being said, let me ask, are there any spirits around me right now who could communicate with me through this device and perhaps answer some questions about Ted Bundy in the afterlife? Is anyone there? How many spirits are around me right now in this room? I heard 3 and I heard there's a 1. Would any of you be able to tell me what happened to Ted Bundy once he crossed over into the afterlife? Did Ted Bundy go to the light? I heard not yet. So does that mean he's still showing no remorse, no repentance, if you will, for his actions in life? He's still being stubborn, even in the face of God, even in the face of death in the afterlife. He's still refusing to own up to his actions. Is that true? Let me ask again. Is Ted Bundy still refusing to have any remorse and repentance for what he did in life. Does it seem that Ted Bundy will ever own up to what he did and ever feel remorse? Spirits, do you think that will ever happen? Do you think Ted Bundy will remain defiant until the bitter end and never make it into the light? Is he one of those souls that may spend eternity in eternal darkness and separation from the light? Is that possible? I heard someone say no to that question. Does that mean that eventually and inevitably in the afterlife, Ted Bundy will feel remorse and he will seek union with the light? He will seek reconciliation with the good. I heard yup, and that's it. In spiritualism, it's believed that there is no eternal hell, that a bad or evil soul may go to what we call a hell realm, and it may spend a very, very, very long time there. But eventually, every soul will be purified and find its way to God. But it really depends on our decision, our willingness to change, our willingness to let go of the darkness and the evil and the bad habits that keep us bound to the things of the earth and the flesh and our own selfishness. And I'm kind of talking in kind of religious terms here, but would that pretty much be the truth of the matter, that every soul will eventually be purified and find its way to the light, including Ted Bundy? I heard the name Ted mentioned there, and it sounded like quite a few affirmations that eventually all souls will find purification and redemption. Does that mean that the old religious view of an eternal hell of fire is false? Can you tell us that, spirits? heard a lot of words there, but I'm not sure if they were affirming an eternal hell or denying an eternal hell. So let me ask, and I have a reason for asking this pertaining to Ted Bundy, but let me just ask yes or no. Is there an eternal hell in the afterlife? Boy, there was a lot going on there, and you get impressions when you do these sessions, and the impression that I was getting that deeply came over me asking that is, it is possible for a soul to spend eternity away from the light, eternity away from divine source. It's not necessarily a burning fire, but it would be a soul torment, as this soul just wishes to hang on to its darkness, hang on to its evil, and it's essentially making its own hell, its own torment by its own choice. God isn't condemning anybody to such a place. Now, spirits, is that true? Can you confirm it, and is that what you were impressing upon me during that last segment? Was that the truth of the matter of hell, what I just said? Can you confirm or deny that?
No, no, no,
And it may be that I'm not getting a direct answer because there are some things that human beings are just not supposed to know this side of the afterlife. Would that be true? Sorry about that, folks. I had a slight interruption, but I don't want to lose the momentum of this session. It seems to be going very well. So let me repeat that question to the spirits. Are there just some things about the afterlife we're not supposed to know this side of the hereafter? And my last question before closing this session, I want to ask, will Ted Bundy be in the darkness or the darkness of the void forever? Sounded like someone said no and someone said I don't care. But needless to say, it's not pleasant where we go in the afterlife when we do evil and bad things. And just because the afterlife is merciful and loving doesn't give us a ticket to live any way that we want to here on the earth right now. Would that be a correct statement to make? So in closing, would it be possible for Ted Bundy himself to leave a word or say something through this device? So I'll just ask before I close, Ted Bundy, if you are able to speak through this device, what would you say about your state in the afterlife? And I would ask, do you think you would ever have remorse and repentance for what you did when you were alive? That was a pretty clear no. So I'm going to leave this session at that. I want to thank all spirits who communicated with me here today. It's always appreciated. I thank you for your words, your comments, and your thoughts. And I thank all of you for listening. Until next time, stay in love, stay in the light, and I'll see you in the next video.